Welcome back to our video series about how to customize our free motion graphics pack template for YouTube creators. If you'd like to follow along, you can download the free pack using the link in the description below. Our next video is going to cover how to customize our lower thirds. Let's dive in. So the next thing that we're going to cover is our lower third. So that's where it's kind of nice to have this video footage that you can work with. So I have this talking head video that I've done in the past, and it's just a good background for these lower thirds. So let's go ahead and we'll just kind of scrub forward in time on our timeline, and then grab our lower thirds and drag that onto our timeline. Okay, so now we have our lower third on here, and I'll scrub forward to see that play. And now let's go ahead and customize it. So we'll select our lower third, we'll come over to edit. We have a little note here that says responsive asset. This asset is responsive, lengthen or shorten duration in timeline. So I will show you that after we've kind of customized some of these fields in this particular template. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll go ahead and go to the title text here, and you can just type in your name. I'll type in Anthony Elmore, and then you can change your font if you'd like to do that. And I'll change my job title to just say animation and motion design. It'd be more like animator, motion designer. Maybe I should do that. Okay, and then the next thing we want to do is we want to kind of style this to kind of be reflective of the initial design that we had. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this blue. I'm going to copy this hex code here. There's easier ways to do this. You could import your like a graphic with your brand colors, and you could eyedrop it. But just for this video, I'm just kind of going to be swapping back and forth between our assets and just copying the hex codes. So I think we will change this red color to the blue. So let's go ahead and try that out. So we'll go ahead and paste that hex code in here. And then I'm going to return back to this, select the gold, select this hex code, return back to this lower third, scrub back down, find this white section, and then paste that gold in here. And that looks pretty good. So my subtitle text color is gray, and I think that maybe for this one I will go white. Yep, so there's just a little bit more contrast, and you can see it just a little bit better. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is this lower third is kind of hanging out just a little bit longer than I like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of scroll and look for our width adjustment right here. So if we click and drag this, you can see that it will scale. So if you have a really long name or a long job title, you can kind of accommodate the width of that by using this width adjustment. So I'm just going to kind of bring it in just a little bit so it's a little bit tighter. And I think that that is all the controls of this particular asset. So let's go ahead and just kind of see this play through. And I'm actually going to frame this in, so I'll press I and then come to the end and press O, and now I'm going to render this out, and we'll be right back. Okay, so the lower third is now rendered out, and this is what it looks like. It plays on, it's static, it holds, and then it animates out to disappear. Okay, so now what I want to show you is something I just briefly talked about when we opened this up, and that was the responsive asset. So one of the really cool things about motion graphic templates is that sometimes they can be responsive if the author sets them up that way, and not all assets are suitable for being a responsive asset. But this particular one is. So let me show you what that means. Essentially what it does is it allows you the ability to lengthen or shorten the duration of the animation. So let's say, for instance, we have our lower third here and we only want it to play for 6 seconds. This particular lower third has a duration of 10 seconds. And so let's go ahead and I'm just gonna scrub and just say we need it to be this long. So what I can do is move my timeline or my playhead here and then just squeeze this in. And then let's go ahead and play this through. Sorry, this will be a little bit blurry because of the playback, but you'll see that it only lasts that duration. Its end animation closes out and it folds up all within this timeline. If this were not a Mogrt, what would happen is if I were to scale this back like this, it would actually just get cut here. So it would be showing this and then all of a sudden it would just cut off. But since it has that responsiveness built in, it's able to kind of squeeze and accommodate that new timing so that it can play the entire duration of the asset. So that was shortening it. The other thing is it can be lengthened and you can expand the duration that it's on. So we can go past 10 seconds. So let's say we want it to be on the screen for 12 seconds or 14 seconds. Let's go ahead and we'll expand this and I'll hit play here. Or actually I should probably start it from the beginning. So it'll play on. It will be static. Sorry to make you wait. And then it's going to start animating out. Just like that. So you can see this can be really handy depending on your footage and your needs. There's a couple other responsive assets in this pack. And we'll be jumping into those here very shortly when we go into transitions, which I believe might be next. Yep, transition. So let's go ahead and we'll move on to transitions. Now that you've learned how to customize the lower thirds, watch our next video on customizing transitions.